Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as it's going to be BenBot taking on Deimos, the moon, or a god, I believe. And so we've got a PvP, but more importantly, a bot versus bot match here on Grezven, the AI edition. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get too far into this one though, as we already got a Rax building on the other side of the map, make sure to go ahead and click that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more of these bot games, or just whatever you want to see on the channel, and then subscribe if you're not subscribed, as this channel is the home for the Starcraft 2 for regular Starcraft 2 botcasts. We do have BenBot going for a bit of a cheeky proxy. Unfortunately, that SCV was killed, so BenBot's in a bit of a poor position right now, as that probe for Deimos scouted it out. Team Eris is their bots are incredibly good at scouting. In the previous match, it just barely missed a proxy Rax from BenBot. In this case, Deimos has actually found it, so that's an incredibly good start. The placement of the Rax for BenBot, I think, is random to a degree. It's very unfortunate, this placement, though, as that, yeah, it's very unfortunate. We do have the probe for Deimos as well, programmed to stay on attacking that Rax and then to attack whatever worker also comes. Another SCV is dead, and that prompts BenBot to send yet another SCV across the map. However, it takes a long time to get there, so we do have some redundancy from BenBot in order to get another worker over there to finish the Rax. Unfortunately, bots only do what they're programmed to do, so it's not like BenBot is thinking like, oh, it killed that one SCV, it's probably going to kill another, and this SCV is also going to get killed here by this Adept, by that probe. That Rax is not going to happen for BenBot. We didn't even see a chat tag there saying SCV killed. I wonder if that's because it didn't even reach there. We now have a Marine running into the one Adept of Deimos, so the Marine going to engage for BenBot. It was scouting out. Very unfortunate though, and now this Adept is coming on in here. It's got a bit of shields taken off by that one Marine. Another Marine gonna do what it can, but BenBot is losing its critical units here. Those Marines, you need to pool those if you're a Terran early game. One Marine at a time doesn't do that well, so we are going to see this Marine try and fight that Adept, though some SCV bros are coming to help. However, another Adept did just shade on in, so this is going bad for BenBot. The SCVs helping did allow that Marine to take care of that. Now we got to see this other Adept be handled, as it's shading all over the place. BenBot is losing mining and is in a very rough position. This Rax is being zapped to death, and SCV is still scouting all over the map. At least the natural base has successfully gotten up. There is now 2 Marines trying to deal with this Adept, but we have seen a lot of SCVs go down for BenBot this game. 10 SCVs perishing there. That is atrocious. We've got no siege tank on the way because BenBot's been barely mining, and yeah, I'm very concerned now for BenBot. Behind this, Deimos has been getting up that Nexus, getting up actually a Stargate, so it can make some Phoenix. I'm not sure I've ever seen Deimos go for Phoenix before. I think it's almost always been a Stalker push. So this is why I was excited to cast another Deimos game, because the previous times I had casted, it was in rather early development. Now we're going to see these Phoenix coming in. They lift up one of those Marines. Another Marine is going to get lifted up. The Phoenix is derping out a little bit there. Its co-worker is slacking as it's getting shot to death. That's unfortunate. The bunker does finish up, so BenBot shall be safe from aggression for now. BenBot's trying to get that economy back online. Behind this, though, Deimos is going incredibly, well, quite greedy here. A fourth Nexus isn't actually, or a third Nexus at the 4-minute mark is actually pretty standard for Protoss. It's just macroing hard, and then BenBot just in a rough economic position because of this. The Marines in that bunker do a good job shooting one of those Phoenix. BenBot is in a really rough economic position, though. That natural base just making SCVs hasn't been able to become an orbital command yet. We'll see if that does eventually transform there. We know BenBot's build was really messed with early on. I am liking the economic management here of BenBot actually though, because take a look at its gas. It's built up to a very high gas count, and it actually stopped mining gas for a while there. It's just got a couple workers back in gas now, but so great economic management from BenBot there to realize that it's got a huge surplus of one resource. I love to see that. Stalkers are poking this bunker. It's being repaired by SCVs en masse. We're actually going to see another bunker go up. I'm loving that from BenBot. We've got a siege tank on the way from the Terran. That's really going to help with this defense. Deimos is poking with its stalkers again and again, but this tank will make that a lot more difficult, as the stalkers now have to avoid that tank range. The Phoenixes they're trying, but they're not quite getting the memo. Any Protoss bot that utilizes Phoenix successfully isn't something we see too often. Those stalkers are wandering in, taking tank shots. They're like, oh, I got some shields, but not enough apparently. So BenBot's defense is really coming along here, and now we're actually seeing Deimos go for mass Stargates behind this. I'm wondering if it's going to be like Void Rays or something, or if we will just see lots of Phoenix on the way. It's got a good economy in order to support lots of Stargate production, but the Phoenix haven't wowed me yet with their behavior. We'll see if that changes at all. Stalkers are still running into this tank fire, and Immortal glitching out a little bit, so Deimos, it's programmed to avoid the tanks, but it's not quite doing a good enough job, unfortunately. So BenBot's defense is looking solid. The Terran bot has really stabilized on these two bases. 40 workers to 70 though, so it's still got a ways to go, but the unit movement so far is pretty good for BenBot. BenBot still being attacked here. That Immortal can survive a tank shot or two. SCV's coming in to repair. Widowmine gonna go off, kill that Phoenix, actually save that injured SCV. Marauders that have been being produced now are getting lifted up, as the Phoenix production for Deimos is just going out of this world now, with 4 Phoenix on the way at a time. This is something that only Team Eris would program. A Viking is now out for BenBot. That's helping to zone out the Phoenix. A Hellion's trying to run on by. BenBot is still hard locked on 2 bases. We'll see if it can ever break out of this position. It's building lots of turrets though too, which are going to help with potential Phoenix harassment if that's a thing that's programmed by Deimos. And the Phoenix are moving around the back side of this base, so for BenBot's sake, I hope it builds another turret, and it is actually building another turret. That's very important. BenBot has yet to get up a 3rd base, though, so its economy isn't looking that good. Marines are pulled out of the bunker to try and fight the Phoenix. The turret's helping too, so the Phoenix are having a hard time here, as BenBot is still just hanging on these 2 bases, getting up a fusion core now. No 3rd base has been started yet. I'm not sure if that, which is good, but it's not like running SCVs out to get killed to the 3rd base location. But I am curious to see if it ever does expand. The Phoenix are now going into the main base. That is problematic, as there's only 1 turret in that mineral line to help zone these out. Deimos is being chased by the Vikings, though. All the while, Stalkers are pushing at the front. There's a Marine trying to get inside this bunker, but it cannot. So the tanks are having to do most of the heavy lifting. That Marine is also, yeah, it's being pulled in and out of the bunker by these Phoenix. The Viking count is growing, though, helping to zone these out. And the Phoenix are scared of the Vikings, which is good for BenBot, actually. And we can take note that Deimos has completely ceased to build these Phoenix. It's now just all in on the Stalkers. It's not able to break this location, though, because 2 tanks and a bunker being repaired are so good, but that bunker is actually taking a lot of heat. The tanks are shooting as fast as they can, but these Stalkers are just constantly attacking at the Immortal too, and so BenBot really is being contained just by mass Stalkers at this point in the game. And Deimos is looking a little bit scarier now, because in previous matches, I don't think it went for a 3rd base. Like, it went for this mass Stalker strategy, but now it's actually got the intelligence to build a 3rd Nexus. We'll see if it goes for a 4th eventually or not. BenBot is building a battle cruiser. Unfortunately, the Predator for the battle cruiser is is Stalkers to an extent. There's no blink on them, but it's still quite concerning. BenBot will eventually need to expand as well. That main base is going to be mining out. It's still got some fresh mineral patches, though, which... so it's not in immediate danger of running out, but the income will start to slow down soon here. The Vikings, they're good, but they're really only good against the Phoenix, and they're not really the main threat anymore. BenBot's eventually going to have to be able to secure up this third base, and it's barely holding on, defending this natural base, so I'm not sure it's ever going to be able to get out and take a third. We will see this battle cruiser out. I'm not sure how Deimos is going to react to that, or if it will react to that or not. And if the BC just attacks into these Stalkers, that could be a disaster. If it went across the map, that would be huge, but I'm not sure BenBot's programmed to do that. And so the contain continues on as these siege tanks are firing lots and lots of shells. The resources lost is actually so darn good for BenBot, 11,000 to 2,800. However, Deimos has got free range to potentially expand more. It's at least got one more base than its opponent. I am curious to see if Deimos has been programmed to ever take a fourth base or not. And oh, this is a problem for BenBot. That attempt to expand could be its downfall here, as lots of SCVs run into the Stalkers, and there is that, if it turns into a PF, that would be so important. Come on, BenBot, make it a planetary, but I'm not sure it's got the cash. And we do see it's burning money on all this constant repair that it's doing, so it hasn't reached that 150 mineral mark that it needs. If it can reach that and start building a planetary, I mean, a PF can take on a lot of Stalkers. The battle cruiser's there. Come on, say, do we have 150 resources? We do, and it is going to start morphing into a planetary fortress. That is actually so big, as long as it keeps getting repaired. BenBot may be able to get up a third base as long as these SCVs stay alive. I mean, there's already high-sec auto-tracking. There's no building armor yet for the planetary fortress, but SCVs can keep repairing this once it's alive. Tempest will be a problem, though, as there's 6 of those out. All of a sudden, Deimos is switching between ground and air. Phoenix first, then Stalkers, now into Tempest. The injured Vikings for BenBot are being pulled back, but there's not that many. The one battle cruiser has been repaired up back at home, so BenBot does have this planetary fortress up now with the high-sec auto-tracking. It has the same range as Stalkers, which, well, it's actually got more range than Stalkers, pardon me. So that's very important. The Tempest are going to be problematic, though, as, I mean, the Vikings have stayed alive for now. They're being repaired. The problem is, I mean, the tanks can't shoot up, and they really have been the thing defending against all the Stalkers. One of those Vikings goes down. There is the battle cruiser. It needs to be repaired so it can get back into the fight. It's got Yamato cannon. Maybe it can deal with a Tempest, but BenBot really needs a lot of anti-air, and it is kind of falling into the trap we see bots sometimes have happen to them, where it's just making more and more SCVs, and it's, I think, trying to run some of them towards that third base, or just losing them on the front lines. Repairing the bunker is holding for now. However, Vikings have actually all gone down for BenBot, and so Deimos, it wasn't able to crack the natural base with the Stalkers, but the Tempest do seem to be doing it. I was excited for BenBot. It almost, or it did get up a third base, however, it was not prepared for the mass Tempest transition, it seems. And BenBot only has one battle cruiser against 8 Tempests, so that BC, it comes out, then it just has to teleport away. BenBot did sneak up another cheeky base during all of this, so you really got to give it to BenBot for the defense. But if these tanks die, it's going to be lights out, and all the battle cruisers are going to shoot the turret, shoot the biggest threat to them. But now the first tank goes down. The second tank is going to go down. 28 kills on that one, and it actually reaches 29 so far. SCVs are really trying to keep this tank alive, and they're doing a good job. They've done a good job this entire game. The tank hits 30 kills and then goes down. Deimos with a really cool transition, kind of a checkmate. This almost seems like it was specifically designed to take down BenBot almost. And I really do like how the authors of Deimos have made it so their bot will actually do that. And transition, because we've seen lots of games, not just with Deimos, but with other aggressive Protoss bots that just build mass Stalkers, then eventually it's like, oh, there's a couple tanks, they'll never break that location. Tempest are a great answer to that. So a really cool transition by Team Deimos. There is just long distance mining going on. Well, lots of oversaturated mining going on as there's no fourth base being taken. So I am curious if Deimos will ever be programmed to take a fourth base or not. Although if it can get the wins off of just 2 or 3 bases, it doesn't really need to. Stalkers and Tempest are going to clean this up. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've watched to this point in the video and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified whenever I put up a new video. If you do want to support these daily casts, go ahead and become a YouTube member. You can click the join button or use the link in the description. There's various perks you can get. Click that like button. Leave a comment down below saying more bots if you want to see more bots. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in as we watch this one last command center go down. GG.